Columbus Day, observed on the second Monday of October, commemorates Christopher Columbus's arrival in the Americas in 1492. For some, it's a celebration of exploration and the spirit of discovery that shaped the Western Hemisphere. The holiday honors the journey and waves of immigration that built the Americas, especially the United States. But Columbus Day's meaning is hotly debated. Many see it as the start of centuries of oppression for indigenous peoples, marked by disease, land loss, and cultural erasure. This conflict is at the heart of the holiday's controversy. The debate isn't just about history, but about how we remember the past and what values we choose to elevate. Some argue that questioning Columbus Day erases history, others see it as necessary to acknowledge painful truths. The divide has grown, with cities and states navigating competing viewpoints about identity, heritage, and justice. The second Monday in October is no longer a day with a single meaning. Instead, it's a symbol of America's ongoing struggle to reconcile its conflicting stories. The question remains, who gets to be celebrated? On October 9, 2025, former President Donald Trump signed a proclamation declaring October 13th as Columbus Day. This was more than a routine holiday announcement. It was a statement to reclaim Columbus's legacy of faith, courage, and perseverance. Trump's proclamation accused left-wing radicals of trying to destroy Columbus's name and memory. The holiday became a battleground in the culture war. Trump called on Americans to celebrate with ceremonies and to display the U.S. flag, reinforcing Columbus Day as a national observance. He made a direct appeal to Italian Americans, saying, "We're back, Italians. We love the Italians." For many Italian Americans, Columbus Day is a celebration of heritage and community contributions. Trump's move was praised by political allies, including Italian American representatives. Supporters see this as defending tradition against what they view as unfair historical revisionism. For them, restoring Columbus Day is about protecting a cherished legacy. Columbus Day's roots are deeply tied to Italian-American identity. It gained national prominence in 1892, after President Harrison's commemoration following the lynching of Italian immigrants in New Orleans. For Italian Americans, Columbus became a symbol of achievement and acceptance. Over time, the holiday grew into a celebration of heritage with parades and festivals. In 1934, President Roosevelt made it a federal holiday, cementing its importance. But for Native Americans, Columbus Day marks the beginning of a catastrophic era: disease, land theft, and forced conversion. Critics argue that celebrating Columbus is celebrating suffering and destruction. In response, a movement to replace Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day has grown. This alternative honors Native history, culture, and resilience. As of 2025, 17 states and D.C. officially recognize Indigenous Peoples Day. The shift reframes October's second Monday, moving focus from colonizer to the colonized. To understand the debate, we must look at Columbus and the holiday's origins. Columbus, born in Genoa in 1451, sailed west in 1492 with Spanish backing, seeking a new route to Asia. He landed in the Bahamas, believing he'd reach the East Indies, and called the inhabitants Indians. Columbus never set foot on what is now the U.S., but his voyages began the Columbian Exchange: plants, animals, culture, and ideas. But this exchange also brought deadly diseases, wiping out much of the native population. Columbus and his men enslaved indigenous people and used violence to suppress resistance. Even his contemporaries documented his cruelty. Columbus Day's first commemoration in 1892 was a response to anti-Italian sentiment, promoted by Italian-American leaders and the Knights of Columbus. The holiday framed Columbus as a heroic figure and symbol of Italian pride. President Roosevelt made it a federal holiday in 1934, long before the darker aspects of his legacy were widely discussed. Today, the second Monday in October symbolizes America's divided memory. For some, Columbus Day is a vital tradition and celebration of Italian-American heritage. Others see it as a painful reminder of colonization and genocide. Indigenous Peoples Day is seen as a way to honor Native resilience and tell a fuller history. Trump's 2025 proclamation has amplified the divide, making Columbus Day a front in the culture wars. Supporters call it a defense of tradition. Critics see it as a provocation that ignores indigenous pain. The controversy forces Americans to ask, can a figure be both a symbol of pride and oppression? As states and cities choose which holiday to recognize, the debate continues. America is still grappling with the complex legacies of its own creation.